Somewhere above the Arctic Circle, the ocean is still frozen solid. But nothing about this ocean is peaceful, not even the ice. Waves 80 feet tall, winds that hold hurricane force for days, water cold enough to kill in minutes, ice that appears overnight and crushes steel like paper. This ocean does not warn you. It does not build slowly. It does not give you time to react. It has swallowed ships whole, entire crews, experienced sailors who never saw it coming. This is the Northern Ocean, the most reckless, remorseless stretch of water on Earth. At the very top of our planet sits a body of water most people will never see. Not because it is hard to find, because it actively resists being approached. The Northern Ocean, formerly known as the Arctic Ocean, circles the North Pole. It is bounded by the northern coasts of Russia, Canada, Norway, Greenland, and Alaska. It covers roughly 5.4 million square miles, smaller than any other ocean, but deadlier than all of them combined. For most of the year, its surface is locked under sea ice. In winter, that ice can reach 10 feet thick. It is not fixed in place. It moves, buckles, and collides, forming pressure ridges up to 40 feet high overnight. Beneath that shifting armor, the water sits at 29 degrees Fahrenheit, just cold enough to be liquid, just cold enough to kill. The nearest port from the ocean's center is over 1,000 miles away. Out here, there is no calling for help. There is only managing the situation until the situation manages you. But none of that stopped people from trying to enter. For centuries, explorers pushed north into these waters searching for something they believed was worth dying for. The coldest, the darkest, the most isolated, and yet people chose to go in anyway. The question is, why? The first people to know about this ocean didn't arrive by ship. They were already home. The Inuit, the Yupik, the Nenets, Arctic peoples who had lived at the edge of this ocean for thousands of years. They hunted on the ice in total darkness. They read the color of the sky to predict where open water lay. They built boats from driftwood and animal skin that could flex with the ice rather than fight it. This ocean was not their enemy. It was their pantry. European explorers arrived in the 1500s with a different mission. They were looking for the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic that would connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and shorten the journey to Asia by thousands of miles. Martin Frobisher made 3 voyages between 1576 and 1578. He found what he believed was gold ore and brought 1,350 tons back to England. It was worthless black rock. Henry Hudson sailed north in 1607, reaching latitude 80 degrees by 23 degrees north, farther north than any European before him. 4 years later, his own crew locked him, his son, and 7 others in a small boat and left them in the bay that now bears his name. None of them were ever seen again. Still, the ships kept coming, because every map still had that blank space at the top, and blank spaces have always been irresistible. Eventually, the explorers were replaced by men with a different kind of ambition. Not maps, not passages, just profit extracted from the ocean's wildlife with a brutality that left scars still visible today. The explorers failed. The maps stayed blank. But someone else was watching, and they were not interested in discovery. They were interested in money. By the late 1700s, sealing ships from Britain, Norway, Russia, and the United States were arriving in force. Seals were killed for their pelts and their oil, hundreds of thousands per season. The work was done by hand, on ice, in temperatures that froze blood before it hit the ground. Within 50 years, populations that had numbered in the millions were functionally gone from entire regions. When the seals ran out, the industry turned north and turned larger. The bowhead whale became the primary target. A single adult could yield over 100 barrels of oil. Whale oil lit the lamps of Europe and America and lubricated the machines of the Industrial Revolution. The bowhead whale population, once estimated at over 50,000 animals in the western Arctic alone, was reduced to fewer than 3,000 by early 20th century. The industry did not stop because of conscience. It stopped because there was almost nothing left to kill. But the men who hunted these waters knew something the merchants back home did not. The ocean itself was the real danger. Not the work, not the cold, not even the isolation. The ocean, in ways no one could fully predict or prepare for. Profit brought them north, but profit could not bring them back. Because between the hunting grounds and home lay the most hostile stretch of water on Earth, and it does not negotiate. The Northern Ocean does not have one way to kill you. It has several, and they tend to arrive simultaneously. The ice is the first problem. It can be 10 feet thick in one spot and 2 inches thick 20 feet to the left. There is no reliable way to tell the difference from the surface. Icebergs calving from Greenland's glaciers add another variable, some the size of apartment buildings, adrift in fog, invisible to radar until they are close enough to touch. Then there is the darkness. For up to 4 months in deep winter, the sun does not rise above the horizon at all. Compasses become unreliable near the magnetic North Pole. GPS signals degrade at extreme latitudes. Navigation here is part instrument, part intuition, and part luck. Cold does the rest. At -20 Celsius, steel becomes brittle. Rubber seals crack. Diesel fuel gels in the lines. Sea spray hits the deck and freezes within seconds, building ice on railings, ropes, and radar domes. If enough ice accumulates on a ship's superstructure, it becomes top-heavy and rolls. Man overboard in these waters is almost always a death sentence. Cold shock causes involuntary gasping on contact. Swimming ability is lost within 3 minutes. Loss of consciousness follows within 10. Water temperature this close to freezing leaves no margin. None. And yet, ships kept sailing north and kept not coming back. The stories of what happened to them are the stories the Northern Ocean tells best. And the most haunting of those stories begin here. Four ships, 3 different decades, thousands of stories that this ocean has never fully given back. The Franklin Expedition, 1845. In May 1845, Sir John Franklin left England with 2 ships and 129 men. HMS Erebus, HMS Terror, iron-reinforced hulls, 3 years of provisions, the most advanced polar vessels ever built. A pair of whalers spotted them in Baffin Bay in late July 1845, waiting for conditions to clear. That was the last anyone saw of them alive. A note found in a cairn on King William Island in 1859 told the rest. Both ships frozen since September 1846. Franklin dead by June 1847. The surviving crew abandoned ship and walked south toward the Canadian mainland. None reached it. HMS Erebus was found on the seafloor in 2014. HMS Terror in 2016. Both upright, both preserved, as if the ocean swallowed them whole and simply decided to keep them. USS Jeannette, 1879. The American steam yacht Jeannette entered the Arctic in July 1879, bound for the North Pole. Within 2 months, pack ice had her. She drifted trapped for 21 months before the pressure crushed her hull. She sank in 2 hours. Of her 33 crew, only 13 survived the journey toward Siberia. SS Karluk, 1913. The brigantine Karluk met the same fate in 1913. Trapped, crushed, sunk. Her captain, Robert Bartlett, walked 700 miles across ice and open water to Alaska to raise a rescue. He made it. 11 of his crew did not. MV Explorer, 2007. A century later, an expedition cruise ship carrying 154 tourists struck submerged ice in Arctic waters and sank within hours. Everyone was rescued, but only because a Norwegian vessel happened to be nearby. In the Northern Ocean, that kind of luck cannot be counted on. 3 ships became 4. The ocean kept adding to the list. The ocean took all of them without a sound, and directly beneath where they sank life has been continuing, completely undisturbed, for millions of years. It starts with algae growing on the underside of the ice itself, invisible to the eye, the foundation of everything. Every animal in this ocean traces its food chain back to them. Bowhead whales move slowly through the open leads, filtering krill through baleen plates 13 feet long. Scientists have confirmed individuals living past 200 years. They were here before the first European ship ever entered these waters. Narwhals, walruses hauling out by the thousands onto floes, and above it all, the polar bear. Its fur is not white. Each hair is transparent and hollow, channeling light down to black skin beneath. Its paws are partially webbed. It can swim for days without stopping. It is not an animal that tolerates the Arctic. It is an animal the Arctic built. But the Arctic that built it is changing, and that change has moved far beyond the ice. The routes are open. The ice is retreating. The resources are exposed, and what is left of this ocean, raw, dark, and leaderless, is the last unclaimed place on Earth. The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the global average. Sea ice has lost roughly 40% of its summer area over the past 40 years. The Northwest Passage, the route that killed every expedition sent to find it, is now navigable by commercial ships. Beneath the sea floor lie an estimated 90 billion barrels of undiscovered oil. Shipping routes that were locked under ice for centuries are now open year-round. Waters that no commercial vessel could survive are becoming highways. The Northern Ocean is no longer a barrier. It is becoming a thoroughfare. The ocean that protected itself with cold for millennia is running out of cold. The Northern Ocean has always been defined by one quality above all others. It does not care. Not about the explorers who mapped it, not about the whalers who emptied it, not about the ships it crushed, the crews it took, or the expeditions it erased. It existed before any of them. And it will exist long after the last ship that dares to enter it. The ice is retreating. The world is moving in. But somewhere above the Arctic Circle, the ocean is still frozen solid, and it is still waiting for the next ship to make a mistake. It has never had to wait long. This was just one ocean, one chapter. There are oceans colder than this, storms more violent, places even further beyond reach. Subscribe to Ocean Spirit, because we will take you somewhere new in every video that the rest of the world is too afraid to cover.